Starting this video off with some rain. So now we start working on this. This is going to be interesting because the main problem I have with trying to utilize this kit the way it's designed to be is to go straight out is the fact that the Crossmember is before the transfer case, so there's going to be some interference with the front drive shaft, especially if you want it tucked up close. Now I have an idea that I want to do, which would be involved making a zigzag in the piping. However, this is going to get interesting. But since it is a DIY project, it's up to us to make it work. We're not relying on some manufacturer to produce us some shit saying that it's going to work, when obviously it's probably not. This is a DIY kit. We got to find our own way. This is just the way I like doing things. So inside this kit from TMR Custom, you got these two little clamps right here, this piece right here, these two pipes that will slide inside here and weld if you're going to go that route, and then your greasable bushings. Now with this kit, I want to point out that it can be used without a transmission isolator bushing like I got right there, because these bushings here will take the vibrations, or you can utilize a mount as well. I'm gonna have a look at possibly using both options, but if I have to use that option, which I got just in case, it may drop down too low for what I want, so I may just have to try to utilize this. However, those two pieces that we had left over from building that fender are gonna work out good because they're the same size tube as this. I just got that centered up, so I'm just gonna tack it together quickly so we can get started and I show you what I'm talking about. Theoretically speaking, you could use this mount two ways, like that. Or if you want more tuck, I could probably go this way as well. It's taking her pretty close. I don't think I'd have the clearance there. However, last case scenario, which will add quite a few inches, would be to go like that, but then we're dropping down way low. So that's not even gonna be all that bad actually. I was thinking I'm gonna have to redesign the wheel, but you probably could get away with this. It's pretty close. But the drive shaft on the front, you probably could clear. So now the plot thickens once I got the drive shaft set up in there. That's definitely not gonna work. That's why you should always fit things up beforehand. As you can see right here, that's gonna be a nightmare. So I'm thinking coming across at an angle, something kind of like that. So on the way home from work, I picked up some flat metal here and piece of angle iron. This is gonna weld on top of the frame and hang down. And this is where these tabs over here are probably going to go, permitting that the size will work for that. And then I got this flat bar to compensate for anything else. But since we're gonna be doing a custom tubing job, I picked up a tube notcher off Amazon, just a cheap one, and should fit in the middle there. Hopefully we'll be able to set her up and make that happen. I'm just getting things prepped. So what I did is I cut the tacks off the mount, then I moved this all the way over to the side, because underneath I need as much clearance between this and the front drive shaft as possible. I also cut these two plates, which are going to weld on the frame, and those are the exact width that this bracket needs to be, so there's no guesswork there. Got the tube cutter. I also just put the level on the engine. Looks like I'm sitting at about 7 degrees. I'd like to set the engine somewhere around 3 degrees, and then that way when I build the 8.8 I have some room to play with roughly, but we'll figure that out in just a bit. Oh, I know. There's gonna be a storm later today, Domgats. I know. They're not gonna like that. You wanna go inside? You wanna go inside and have a sleep? Do you? You wanna bite my hand? Is that what you wanna do? I just set my driveline angle roughly at about 5 degrees. This is bolted up, so now I can string across and we can see where the first section could possibly fit. Coming across, if I weld those tabs right on the bottom, I should be looking pretty good. Grinded edge if you're welding, get some penetration. So that's looking good. I need to weld a gusset on this angle iron here to strengthen it, because once the weight of the engine's transmission comes down, there's going to be some flex in that angle iron, and we don't want that. So I'm going to put a gusset in there. I also marked off in here where we need to sand the rust down and put some weld through primer on there. This has been cut, so it'll go inside a couple inches. Gusset has been welded in. We're ready to fit this up. I got weld through primer on the frame and on the top of this, so hopefully it'll help with some corrosion after we weld it in. Just like that, it's gonna be perfect. So now this is welded in. I just got tack welded on there. Now we gotta deal with the other side, which we got the drive shaft in place, but I have an idea what I want to do for that. This is one of the downsides of trying to film welding. I just ruined this lens on my drift camera. It's a good thing it's a replaceable lens, so I gotta get a new one. So I was thinking, since we can't go across inside there because we're going to hit, but what if I build some braces and come straight across, and then we come off the bracket down at an angle on there? I think that would work. I think it would. This was the best deal ever from Home Depot. The set, this drill hauls ass. It was only like $100 for the set too. Hopefully you guys can see where I'm going with this. Those are my engineered supports. This will work. I just need this pipe to be a little longer. Oh, I bought this thing. Let's try it out. I'm using a hole saw. It doesn't take long to kill a battery. I should put some lubricant on there. Sometimes a fuck up just may work out in your favor. that's what I'm working on, but I just need to tweak it a little bit. This works pretty good, except for the fact that the hole saw needs to be a little deeper because it bottomed out. I couldn't punch it through, then I flipped it to the other side. And of course, it caught and made a mess, broke a couple teeth, so it is what it is. Look at that coming in. I think she's gonna get ugly. It's starting to get ugly now. We're all finished, tacked up now. I'm gonna remove it, weld her out. That part's finally finished. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think I'm gonna have any issues with it. Gussets, strength, should be good to go. Now the fun begins of welding this all out, and hopefully she doesn't tweak. Everything that you see here, except for these two braces, was from the TMR Customs kit. Fabricated up to fit the application that I needed. Now, there's probably a million ways you could have done this job, but I wanted to keep it as straight as possible, and I dropped it down here so the drive shaft could clear, then back up there, and then I put a double gusset here, or double support I should say. Otherwise it'd be stress on here, but it's evened out here, so it's locked in. Once we get that all painted up, we'll reinstall it. That being said, I think it's motherfucking beer time. Let's try this one right here. Session Sour. Oh, this is light, 2.4% alcohol. Man, that's like drinking water. All right, motherfucking beer time. I worked a little extra late in the garage to get this project finished up. When you start doing fabrication, I got some pretty unique bends in this in order to make it fit. Now, doing this by yourself, one-handed, is a definite challenge for sure. But I got it done. It fitted up. I had many scenarios in my head when I first started building this, but in the end, that's how it turned out, and I'm pretty happy with that. So let's crack open this beer. Kevin from Ontario sent these beers. I think this is the last one out of the set that he sent me. I'm pretty sure it is. Anyways. I'm a huge fan of sour beers. And this one's pretty good. Oh yeah, it's pretty good. Motherfucking beer time. So once I get the transmission support in, probably gonna throw the coils on and the intake. Not quite yet put the wiring on yet, but I want to get those on so it makes it look like I'm doing something. There's still a lot of things underneath you gotta take care of. Is see if I can use the transmission shifter in the Jeep to utilize with the 4L60. I'm gonna have to see if I can make that work. Gotta hook up the transfer case cable, all that kind of stuff, which is not really exciting, not really too great to film. I hope you guys have been enjoying this video series. Of course, on my other channel, it's just gonna be the dumbed down version of the quick steps of doing everything, because that's what a lot of people like to watch. And of course, on this channel, you're gonna see the realism of what I went through to do a swap. There's no real set in stone information once you go down the rabbit hole. Everybody has an opinion on this and that, but no one has really come out and said, you know what, this is what I did to conquer this, this is what I did to overcome this. So this is where I'm at. If I can make it work, this will be a good starting ground for anybody who wants to do an LS swap in the Jeep TJ. Anyways, motherfucking beer time. If you have any questions or comments, post them below. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.